In the mid-20th century, the Cold War reached a fever pitch. To gain an edge, intelligence agencies' tech wings explored fields far beyond conventional physics. The Office of Technical Service faced a specific problem. Soviet radio shielding was perfect. Traditional eavesdropping failed. They needed a mobile base station that could move freely without suspicion. In 1960, the CIA launched Project Acoustic Kitty. It wasn't just a bell on a collar. Records show scientists planned to turn a live cat into a sophisticated biological listening platform. The surgery took about an hour. A veterinarian implanted a miniature microphone in the ear canal and a small battery and radio transmitter in the chest cavity. The most complex part was hiding the antenna. To ensure signal strength, technicians wove a fine wire along the spine and deep into the fur of the tail. Initial simulations hit an unexpected snag. As a predator, this multi-million-dollar agent would abandon its mission the moment it smelled food. To solve this instinctual flaw, the CIA funneled more funds. A second surgery severed the cat's hunger nerves. Total investment reached approximately $20 million. In 1961, the field test began. The target, 2 Soviet officials on a park bench in a DC park. Technicians inside a van gave the order to deploy. The kitty agent left the van and began crossing the street. However, less than 10 meters from its goal, a yellow taxi passed by at normal speed, unaware of the expensive asset. 5 years of development and $20 million were destroyed in an instant. Zero intel gathered, zero chance for recovery. In 1967, the CIA officially terminated the project. An audit concluded that despite technical success, animal unpredictability made it entirely impractical for combat. The failure of Acoustic Kitty proved the difficulty of bioelectronic fusion. But before this, another scientist had already tried stuffing birds into missiles. During World War II, physicists were desperate for a way to make missiles actually hit their targets. Renowned psychologist B.F. Skinner had a plan. In an era when computers were larger than suitcases, he argued that a brain evolved over millions of years was the perfect guidance system. His candidate? The humble pigeon. Named Project Pigeon, Skinner designed a nose cone cockpit. Instead of circuits, it held 3 pigeons in harnesses facing frosted glass screens. The logic was brutally simple. Pigeons were trained to peck at ship silhouettes on the screen. Their pecks moved mechanical linkages that adjusted the missile's fins to correct its course. Skinner even added a democratic system. All 3 pigeons had to participate. The missile only turned if at least 2 agreed on the direction. This prevented one distracted bird from ruining the mission. In 1944, Skinner showed his results to the NDRC. The accuracy was incredible, but the generals' faces were priceless as they peered through the window to see 3 pigeons frantically nodding at their target. The military pulled the plug. Despite Skinner's protests that it was reliable and cheap, the Navy simply couldn't take a weapon that required birdseed seriously. It just wasn't military enough. Skinner later noted, "Our problem was no one would take us seriously," especially since pigeons were more reliable than the vacuum tubes of the day that kept burning out. The Pigeon missile never saw combat. But as the Cold War escalated, the military realized that instead of training animals, they could just train nature itself. They turned their gaze to the sky. Late 1960s, Vietnam. The US military faced a classic strategic problem. The Ho Chi Minh Trail supply line was hidden under dense jungle canopy, making it nearly impossible to cut with bombs alone. Pentagon strategists stared at weather maps and wondered, if we can't blow up the road, why not turn it into an impassable swamp? Thus, Project Popeye was born. The plan was brutally simple: cloud seeding. Between 1967 and 1972, US C-130S and F-4 Phantoms flew over 2,600 secret missions over this region. Their weapons weren't bombs, but silver and lead iodide. These chemicals acted as condensation nuclei, aiming to artificially extend the monsoon season. The unit even had an unofficial motto: "Make mud, not war." The result? Military reports claimed rainfall in the area increased by about 30%. Roads became rivers. Landslides washed out bridges. It was perhaps the first time an army spent millions just to make the weather worse. This was all top secret until 1971, when investigative journalist Jack Anderson broke the story. The public was shocked to learn that even the daily weather forecast could hide military secrets. This environmental warfare panicked the international community, leading to a 1977 UN convention banning military use of environmental modification techniques. Because everyone realized if Mother Nature got drafted, the war was unwinnable. If playing God with Earth's weather was crazy, the next group of people didn't limit their ambitions to this planet. They wanted to give the moon a wake-up call. In 1957, as Sputnik circled the Earth with a mocking beep, Washington officials lost sleep. America realized it wasn't just losing the space race, it was losing face. To reclaim its prestige, the Air Force devised a blunt plan. If they couldn't leapfrog Soviet tech, they'd create a spectacle the whole world could see. Code name: Project A119. Surprisingly, the team included a young, then unknown, Carl Sagan. His job was to calculate how a dust cloud from a nuclear blast would behave under lunar gravity. The plan: launch a missile with a small nuclear warhead to the moon's terminator line. This spot was chosen so sunlight would perfectly illuminate the resulting cloud of radioactive dust. In their vision, the mushroom cloud would be visible to the naked eye from Earth. It was essentially a giant radioactive "USA was here" sign on the moon. By 1959, sanity prevailed. They realized if the missile missed, or worse, blew up on the launch pad, it would be a PR nightmare. Plus, nobody wanted to land on a radioactive moon later. The project was locked away for 45 years. Lead scientist Leonard Reifel later admitted that, technically, it would have been quite easy to pull off, if you didn't care about the consequences. From the $20 million cat to Pigeon-guided missiles and nuking the moon. These 20th century ideas prove that when extreme anxiety meets infinite budgets, human imagination knows no bounds. Today, these files are historical curiosities. But in some hidden corner, perhaps a new, brilliant plan is already taking shape on someone's desk. This is noir pixel history. If you're drawn to these fractured moments of the past, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support is the spark that keeps us digging through the frost. File closed. See you in the next frame.